You go underground. You try to find the crab temple.
The crab temple. It's not even that they're chanting, they're just like scuttling at the right frequency and it vibrates.
that could also be it. I'm really saying. Welcome back to What's on the Fourth Floor. Today I am your host, Jesse Osborne, here with my co-hosts,
Ethan Goebbels.
And Taylor Billington.
Let's get started with some What's With That's. I believe Taylor had something good for us today.
Deferring to Ethan first.
Ethan,
This is not
getting the
this is not how
deferment.
it works.
Yep.
What? I was not
Deferred.
aware of these rules before we started.
I'll allow it.
Okay, Master Jesse over here. All right.
Podcast
Well,
king.
I came up with okay. The other day I was thinking about a genie handing out 3 wishes as you do. What would you wish for? That kind of stuff.
All right.
And I'm going through a list of things in my head, all of the things that I would want, special abilities or possessions and whatnot. And of course, there's people can say, "Oh, why don't you just ask for like omnipotence or something stupid like that?" But I don't know. I feel like I wouldn't ask that much. However, I was thinking, what if, let's say for the first 2 wishes I ask for whatever, some possessions or whatnot, and then for the last wish,
3 more wishes.
yeah, but okay, that's a different one. We can come back to that one. But what if for the last one, I wished for my last wish to be transferred to another person, for somebody else to have it?
That's awfully generous, Ethan.
But if it were to occur, is it not a paradox? That's my question here.
Explain.
If it were to actually occur, if I wished for my last wish to be given to somebody else, if my wish was granted, then my wish has been used up.
Oh no.
So what would actually happen here?
It really, I think it depends on the phrasing, right? Because genies are big on how you phrase things. They'll like
Yeah, but they
mess with you if you say something wrong.
they always mess with you if you.
So if
No
you
matter
wish
what you say.
for your wish to move to someone else, then I think it would be used up. But I think I'm sure there's a way that you could word it that would transfer it without using it.
Okay, Taylor, enlighten me.
I
What
wish
way?
that someone else had a wish instead of me.
So you would just say a wish, as in like not my wish, this last one, just
Yeah,
just
if you
a
specify
wish.
yours, then it's like, well, you idiot, it's gone now.
What do you think, Jesse?
I feel like there's.
Well, do you think it
I
is
don't
a
know if-
paradox, or is it an
I
avoidable
don't think-
paradox?
Well, the whole thing about wishes is, I think the one rule when you get wishes is that you can't make more wishes with your wishes. Like
Yeah.
that's the one thing you can't do.
But
So I feel like you can't give somebody else a wish.
I
I
think
don't
that
think
rule
but
that's
it's like a
depends on the-
transfer. You can't get more for yourself.
Yeah, I
I
think
think
it depends on the
genie.
genie, really. Yeah, the rules that this genie has. If you were a genie, Jesse,
I would not allow it.
you wouldn't allow more wishes. No.
What
no.
if
And
you
I'd be-
used?
I would be like, here's your 3 wishes, and the next thing they said would count as their wish. So they would have to be extremely careful, and like they'd waste them all back to back.
What do you mean the next? What if they said,
Chaotic.
"Cool, I got 3 wishes"? How does that become a wish? Do they have to say,
If they were
"I
like-
wish"?
Oh man, I want $1 million. It's like, okay, there's your wish. It's like, oh wait, no, I didn't want that. I want it back. Oh,
And then that's your second wish.
that's your second wish, and I don't allow it, so it's gone. Oh,
Okay.
don't be so mean. That's the 3rd one gone. It's over.
All right, so we've learned that Jesse would not be a forgiving genie, which I suppose we could have predicted.
I think so. It's not making more wishes if you use your second one. Use your second one to transfer the 3rd one. So really, you yourself only get 1,
Right.
but this other person also only gets 1.
still think it's a waste.
You could just.
You have infinite opportunities,
It's a-
and you
it's a-
think that getting at least one is a waste?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Why would you want to transfer one?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe you're just
A nice
overcome
guy.
by generosity. I don't
So
know.
this is a situation that you wouldn't find yourself in anyways.
But it's the kind of things I think about. So therefore, it's still important to me.
How would you feel if they ended up wasting their wish? They're like,
The
I
person
want a lot.
transferred it to.
I
I
wish you didn't do that.
If they just say like, I want a lot of dough, and they mean money, but they
But they
said
actually
dough, so
get
they get a
dough.
bunch of dough. You're like, you idiot.
Suddenly they're incredible at making pizzas.
What?
You know?
Yeah. They get all that dough to practice with.
What do you think the most valuable wish is?
Like besides omnipotence.
Yes. Besides that.
I would love to have a perfect memory
It's a good one.
for the school tests.
Perfect memory. Never
Oh,
forget
you mean like
anything.
an
Yeah.
identic.
That's
Okay.
that's similar to what I was thinking would be my answer, which is like just being able to pick anything up right away.
Yes.
Like any skill,
Yes.
I'd just be able to learn it.
Totally. I definitely agree with that one. The perfect memory. If I was a genie, that would have thrown me, well, not thrown me off, but I would have given you exactly that. I would just like have chosen a memory in your brain and just like made it perfect so you
perfect.
can recall every
That would
detail
be-
and perfect and yeah.
That'd make me really mad.
But that's what you said.
That is,
Suddenly,
those are the rules of the genie.
And those are the rules of the genie.
genies don't have rules. Genies just do what they want.
It depends on the genie.
Yeah,
Again,
exactly.
If you were a genie, okay, genies are
It-
not allowed to grant themselves wishes, right?
Genies can do whatever they want.
Yeah, but what? Okay, if you
They
were
can't
a genie,
they can't be freed from the bottle that they are contained in, but beyond that they can do whatever they want.
except for when some random person walks up and rubs their lamp, and they have to do the 3 things that they tell them to.
Yeah, but they choose. They choose what happens. You know? It's their choice.
More or less.
If a genie didn't want to grant a wish, they wouldn't.
But that's what a genie does.
Yeah, but
That's the whole purpose of a genie.
they could choose not to.
You think so?
Mhm.
We'll have to call up a genie expert.
A
That'll
Got one on
validate
speed
it.
dial.
A genie. Wow. Okay.
All right, Taylor, do you have a what's with that?
I do have a what's with that.
You want to share it?
Is it about
no.
genies?
Oh, well.
Okay.
You don't want to share it?
Okay, so
You picked an odd time to tell us that you have a what's with that then.
he asked. Okay.
What's your what's with that, Taylor?
My what's with that is more of like a personal anecdote from my life and then a question, right? So when I was a lot younger, I was probably like 7 or 8, and I was in my house playing with the little plastic animals, you know, with my sister, and we were in the spare room of my house, and we were playing with them and throwing them around and stuff, as you
Mhm.
do. And we got to a point where we were going to pick them all up, and there was one that was missing. We're like, okay, where did it go? And we searched for for a little kid, it's a long time. We searched for probably 5 or 6 minutes, and we
Okay.
could not find it anywhere. And we're like, okay, it'll turn up. You know, it's in here somewhere. There's no way it's not in here. We'll find it eventually. So we kind of forgot about it. And then later, like probably, I don't remember if it was the next day or like several hours later in that same day. Doesn't really matter. We were in my room, which is the next room over from the spare room.
Okay, so it's adjacent to this.
Adjacent to this room, yes. I found it under my dresser in my room,
Okay.
and I have no explanation as to how this would happen.
How it got under the
how
dresser.
it got there, because I didn't move it. My sister did not move it.
But you definitely knew you were playing with it.
And I knew for sure that it was in there. Like, it was in my hand, and I threw it at her, and then it was gone. And it was in my room,
Under the dresser.
under my dresser.
So, what's your question?
My question is, how did this happen? How could this have possibly happened?
When did this happen?
Like,
When you were
10 years ago.
So, what is this, like somewhat of a cold case in your household? And
Yeah,
you're
it's
coming to us,
unresolved.
coming to Jesse and I, looking for expertise
Yeah.
in
Sherlock and
solving this.
Holmes.
Yeah, that's pretty much what this is.
Mhm.
Deductive reasoning.
How did it happen?
I honestly don't think you ever had it in the spare room.
I did.
This was 10 years ago. Your memory's probably been corrupted.
And she remembers it exactly the same, and we hadn't talked about it in like since it happened. And I brought it up a couple months ago to her. I was like, "Hey,"
She
I
was
gave her a
still
bunch of
shaken
really
up about it.
vague memories. I gave her a bunch of really vague memories, and I was like, "Hey, what do you remember happening when this happened?" She said exactly what happened, and I was like, "Yeah."
Is your sister about your age?
She's like 2 years, just under 2 years younger than me.
Under 2 years younger. I don't know. I still don't think you ever actually had it
I
in the
did,
spare room.
for sure.
Well, then,
I for sure had it.
do you remember running in and out of the room?
Nope. Like, we hadn't been in my room all
So
day
your
since that
room
point.
and the spare room share a wall?
Yep.
So there's
And
no way
it
that
was up against the shared wall.
the dresser was.
Yep.
So you're trying to say that, like, this toy, like, went through the wall underneath the dresser?
I'm not ruling it out.
Some sort of, like,
You see,
what do you think happened, Taylor?
I think that is a possibility, and I don't know what else it would be.
Some sort of, like, Twilight Zone episode?
Yeah, isn't that a Twilight Zone episode? There's one where they're like the parents, like, there's like a little girl in the room, and she like goes away, and her parents can hear her in the room, but they can't see her because she like went through a wormhole into another dimension.
It's weird that you say that, because that's exactly that. Maybe it is. I don't remember.
What
it was
if
a
that
Twilight Zone
happened in real
episode.
life?
I'm gonna look it up.
It just
Twilight Zone.
phased out of reality for a little bit and showed up in another room.
Girl in wall. That's all I had to.
I find that unlikely.
But why?
Scratch that. I find that impossible.
But
And
why?
I also agree with Ethan that your childhood memories are wrong.
They're
Yeah,
wrong.
I
They're
honestly
wrong.
think
I think they're either wrong or they're incomplete. It's a lot like, have you ever seen those shows where it's just people telling ghost stories?
Sure. This is not the same.
wait, those shows.
It's the
What do you
same.
This
mean?
is not the same.
Like a show where it's
like
just
a ghost
people.
hunting show. Like
Yeah,
like
kind of.
Taps or whatever.
Kind of.
Is it Taps?
I mean, that's one of them. Yeah, there's
One of
several.
them? That's the one that I remember from when I was younger.
Why is
Hunters.
this not the
Ghost
same?
Hunters. Yeah.
This isn't the same because I like. No.
I got her.
Well,
Where like those people are like
Ooh.
so cemented that this is what happened,
well, it's not.
but like it only
It's not
their
me.
story doesn't make sense.
I didn't make I didn't make this conclusion years later after the fact. You know, this is what happened, and that's how I remember it happening.
No, I'm just saying it's very likely that, I don't know, somebody else moved it and you didn't notice.
No, no one else moved it.
Well, you see, this is where we're at an impasse of logic and
Okay.
fantasy.
Offended.
Okay. Well.
So you guys don't. That's never happened to either of you. Like you like set something down and then you go to get it and it's just somewhere else. It's just gone.
Well, it's
No.
because the last
It's
thing.
never happened to you.
The last thing you
I'm-
remember
Don't
about
misplace my things into alternate places.
it.
How do you know?
Because I know.
What were you saying, Ethan?
That's just because, like, it's in your brain, right? Like the last thing you remember is setting it there.
You don't know what happened when you weren't looking, though.
Yeah. Exactly.
So
What?
maybe somebody else moved it
So
and you didn't
Who?
see them. I don't
Who
know.
else was
Who
in the
was in your
house?
house?
My grandma.
Maybe your
She would
grandma
not have
moved
moved it. It was
She picked up the toy,
we were
walked into the other room,
we
and threw it
were
under the dresser.
yeah. Yeah, why? No,
Don't
that's not a
know.
logical conclusion. That wouldn't happen.
Or it got thrown out into the hallway,
No.
and was the door open?
No. We were under
This is-
the bed. We were under the spare bed.
Wait, you were
And the
under
door
a
to
bed?
the room was closed. We were under the bed.
You were throwing toys at each other while you were underneath a bed.
Yep.
This story does not make sense. It
That's
makes
what
less and
happened.
less sense.
Yeah, that's why it freaks me out.
So I looked this up, and
Just
there
like ghost
actually
stories.
there actually is something where you can share false memories between people. It's called the Mandela effect.
I've heard of this. I don't think that's what happened.
I think it's
this
the
is
most
different.
logical conclusion here.
I know what happened, and this is not it.
You know what you think happened.
I know what happened. It's different.
Okay, then what? How did it get there?
Phased.
It phased through the wall.
Yes.
Why do
think
you
so.
think this specific toy and that specific wall were subject to this phenomenon?
Random chance.
Do you think there was like a wormhole that was like moving throughout the universe
It
and it
could have
just
been.
happened to be in the room at that time?
They could be right in this room right now.
Got me looking at the walls now. I really don't think so. I think it's the Mandela effect. That's so you asked me and you asked Jesse. I am saying it was probably the Mandela effect. I am not a psychologist, but
And I'm surprised this is
in my
like
opinion.
not something that's ever happened to either of you. Like misplacing something and it just going away.
well,
like-
if it was, it
or
wasn't.
like you drop something and then it's just gone. You can't find it. Does that ever happen to you? That's happened to me before.
Yeah. When you drop something and you just can never find it again. Yeah,
And then
that's
it's
happened
gone
to me.
forever. Where'd it go?
No, but I've had instances where it was gone and then I find it like 2 weeks later. Like I think it's just gone forever, and then I find it. I've had those instances before.
I want the listeners' opinions. I want to know if this is like an experience that anyone else has ever had. And I also want to know if anyone else is on my side because I feel a little
If I've ever
ostracized
experienced this
right now.
before, it wasn't. I don't remember it. I don't remember what happened to me 10 years ago when I lost a plastic toy.
because it wasn't significant. This was very significant in my life. It's like a defining event for me.
Is it what led you to physics?
No.
Was it that you? No. All right.
That'd be a funny story, though. Why are you a physics major?
Because
Well,
one time
once I
thought there
lost
was
something, and I think it was a
I
wormhole.
thought there was a wormhole in my room.
I think it's just like ghost stories. Like those have never happened. I've never had like a moment where I just couldn't find any possible explanation for how something happened. Like
You're
a
not-
sound.
You're living your life
like,
wrong.
Like people who hear a sound in their house and they're like, "There was nothing moving. It had to be a ghost."
Yeah.
I've never had that sort of moment. I've lost things, but I don't know. I just lost them. I don't think they poofed out of existence.
They could have, though. They could have. That's the thing. That's what I'm trying to say.
No.
It could
They
have
could
happened.
not have.
It could have.
No.
There's no way that
There's
you can prove to me
every
that it
way.
didn't happen.
No, Taylor. The chances of something really crazy like that happening are minimal compared to the chances of you not fully understanding or not knowing all of the pieces behind the story.
Yeah, didn't fully
order
understand
to
because it was a random chance in the in the universe. It just happened.
You're just generating this narrative. You
Yeah.
have no basis.
Yep.
Mandela
And-
effect. That's what I'm
Double up.
saying.
Double up on Ethan's answer.
Okay. You know, before we went into this, I said it probably wouldn't go over well, and this is exactly how I expected this conversation to go. So,
Well, did you think that in any scenario this conversation would have gone any better?
shared experience. If either of you had some sort of personal anecdote
I'm
that was
far too rational and
related.
logical to have these ridiculous stories in my mind.
Okay. That's where we're at.
All right. And with that, I think we'll call it for the first segment. Listeners, we're going to take a little break and we'll be back with What's in the News. Welcome back to What's on the Fourth Floor. It's time for What's in the News. Ethan, I believe you have some article for us
I
today.
do. I do. A very interesting one. It kind of goes along with the theme that Taylor brought to the podcast today: mystery and conspiracy. Um, Mandela effect, by the way.
That's what I like to give off. Mystery and conspiracy.
That's what people think when you walk by them on the sidewalk. It's like very mysterious person.
I can't control
I
what
bet
other
she's a
people think.
conspiracy theorist. Anyway, so yeah, I found this article about a town, rather a city in Ontario, right across the river from Detroit, Michigan, called Windsor. And since 2011, some residents of Windsor, Ontario, have reported intermittent bursts of noise. They refer to it as the Windsor hum. Basically,
Just out, like in the air.
in the
Just hear
air.
it.
Yeah, so people around this area of Ontario can hear a low humming sound every once in a while. They describe it as a low frequency throbbing sound. So I'm not for sure what that means, but apparently lots of people like to have compared it to like a fleet of idling diesel engines, or a distant rumble of thunder, or some sort of roaring furnace. So pretty interesting happenings going on. It says some people have reported feeling vibrations and and having items in their home rattle. The hum has been linked to depression, nausea, sleep problems, heart palpitations, earaches, and headaches. So this is causing lots of issues for these people. And an investigation done by Natural Resources Canada in 2011 concluded that there was definitely an airborne frequency of approximately 35 hertz. And I believe that study, or that conclusion, was backed up by another investigation in 2014 carried out by the University of Western Ontario and the University of Windsor. So this is definitely something. There's definitely something happening in this town, and it's driving people insane, to say the least. Um, so these investigations that I listed off, so one in 2011, one in 2014, couldn't really pinpoint the source of this noise.
And it just started out of nowhere?
Yeah, apparently it just started out of nowhere, because it's like the reports have only been since 2011, but it's still occurring. Nothing's changed. There's been, and yeah, uh, yeah, there's been these couple of there were government investigations, so they were government funded. But oh, these investigations could not figure out where it was coming from, but they were able to kind of triangulate their observations and figure out that it was coming from something on an area called Zug Island.
Zug.
Zug Island,
Like
Z-U-G.
ZUG?
Z-U-G, which is right across the river from Ontario. So it's in like Detroit, Michigan, and it is an island because it's kind of surrounded by the river. And this island has a steel manufacturing plant on it that's operated by U.S. Steel. Um, that's what the entire island is. This entire steel plant, and apparently the investigations, or U.S. Steel didn't really cooperate with the investigations, and the residents and activists have complained that the company has been secretive and uncooperative in efforts to mute the hum.
Secretive in their efforts.
Mm-hmm. So this has led lots of people to think that, come up with conspiracy ideas. Of course, people have been trying to say that's something to do with UFOs and aliens, or even covert operations on the island. But of course, no one really knows exactly what's causing it, and no one's been able to get U.S. Steel to even work with them to figure out
Right.
what's causing it. So I thought that was really interesting. It's still, this mystery is still up in the air. No one
Yeah.
really knows what's going on.
A steel factory would be a pretty good front. Like,
For what, Taylor?
For what, Taylor?
for whatever is there.
You
what
wanna
do you think is there?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't looked into it.
give a guess?
I feel like I can't have an opinion on this until I personally have looked into it and can make my own conclusions.
Which means trolling the internet.
Sure. I mean, what else would that mean? Going to
The steel
Zug
plant.
Island myself?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's probably like restricted access kind of.
It's not a government facility. It's not. I mean, it's restricted
can't go to
access because you
Ontario.
can't. What?
Can't go to Ontario and hear it.
Yeah, that's what I found interesting, is that only the people in Ontario are complaining about this, but Zug Island is smack in the middle of a metropolitan area. And so I don't know, I guess I didn't really look into it, but like there hasn't really been reports from people on the US side.
Is it like a non-stop thing, or is it just like did it say like anything about when it happens?
Yeah, it's not all the time. Oh, let me see.
Is it just like when the steel factory is in operation, or?
I think I am ready to hazard a guess at what's going on.
Okay. Hazard a
Now,
guess.
okay. Stick with me for a minute.
All right.
There's no steel factory.
Okay.
It's all a front. Hold on, this is where we take a turn. It's actually an underground facility for crab people. Crab people.
Like CRA.
Humanoid crabs.
I feel like in some way you are making fun of me right
And the
now.
frequency. I'm totally serious about this, Taylor. This isn't ridiculous like your story earlier.
Okay.
And the frequency is them constantly chanting to their crab god.
What? Wait.
What do you think, Taylor?
Do crabs make sound? What sound do crabs make?
Do crabs make sound?
Or make crabs?
Well, these aren't
big?
crabs. They're crab people.
Crab people.
It's a little bit different.
Actually,
What do you think, Ethan?
well, before we get into what I think, let's read. I'm gonna read a little segment here. A little
Hermit
background
Crab
on Zug Island.
Association.
Zug Island is an industrial island.
Mm-hmm.
It sits in the southern city limits of Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. For thousands of years, the marshland was Native American burial ground, which, of course, I'm sure that fits into some people's conspiracies. But in the late 1800s,
Unrelated.
in the late 1800s, the patch of land was sold to be an industrial dumping ground. Later became an area of concentrated manufacturing and steel production with 2 high-capacity blast furnaces. Now, researchers speculate that those blast furnaces and irregular operations at the steel mill, that's a hard...
Steel meal.
It's a hard word to say. Steel mills are the sources of the noise. So they think that the noises are coming from the blast furnaces.
Are they? How big are they?
I don't know. There's no
They gotta be-
specs on the
No
blast furnace.
specs on the blast furnace.
It does say
They have to be huge.
It does
if
say that
they're-
the researchers observed that the hum coincided with the appearance of bright blue flames on the island's exhaust stacks, which were easily seen from the Canadian shoreline at night.
Explain this with your crab theory.
That seems a little hostile, Taylor.
No.
I feel like you're not willing to really hear me out.
Hey,
Howard.
we just had a segment
I think
where
it's
I was
totally-
in this position.
I think it's totally plausible that the crab people are also making steel.
It's not actually a
You
front.
just
then.
How
That-
else would they fund their crab adventures?
I think we have deviated
Okay, what do you think, Ethan?
from
Huh?
my
You think it's
question-
actual regular people?
I'm
Don't
think-
be
You think
ridiculous.
it's regular people? No
I did-
way.
I did look into it because the article mentions that this is not the first time that there's been some sort of mysterious humming noise in some populated area. And so I looked into there's a Wikipedia page,
There are a
which
lot of
we'll
crab
put in the
people
show
around.
notes. We'll put this in the show notes. There's a Wikipedia page about mysterious humming noises.
Yep.
And of the ones that have been solved,
Mm-hmm.
they were mechanical devices and some sort of plants that were nearby. And once the devices were adjusted, the humming noise stopped. So here we have an industrial plant.
Run by crab people. Go on.
An industrial plant that is manufacturing steel that seems to be the source of the noise. It's got to be something in the plant. It's got to
Well-
be some sort of design with the stacks. Maybe that when the exhaust is coming out of the stacks, it's causing something in the stacks to vibrate at 35 hertz.
Which is making people nauseous. That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how the sound affects people's medical. I don't know. I don't really know how that affects people, or why it affects people,
Well,
but it does.
There's the ghost frequency.
Yes.
Where-
Yeah.
I just looked it up. It's about 19 hertz, and when you hear it, you don't it's just below what you can actually hear.
Well, we should explain what the ghost frequency, what this is. I have looked up like a story into this.
The ghost frequency is around 20 hertz, which is below what people can actually hear. And so when you hear it, air quotes here.
Yeah.
When you hear it, what you perceive, so it's not everyone experiences this, but I think it's like a third of the people who hear this frequency feel uneasy and like your hair stands up and you feel like you're being watched, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it
I've also going along with this, the story that I heard about the ghost frequency was, I don't remember if the guy was like, I don't know if he was.
it was
an
like in his
engineer
lab or something.
Yeah, he was in a workshop
Yeah.
because he was building like, I want to say he was building like a sword or something. I don't know, something like
He had
that.
a fencing sword.
Yes,
Like a rapier.
exactly. He had a fencing sword. He was in a workshop, and he was working late one night, and
One of the fans in his workshop was like producing this sound.
which he didn't know about.
He didn't know about it because you can't hear it.
Yeah, but he experienced all those things, hair standing up on it and feeling like he was being watched. And then he turned around and he saw like some sort of figure.
What he saw was when he looked at the sword, the rapier that he's working on, it started vibrating.
Well, that was the second night.
Was it?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. The first night he had no clue what was going on. He saw some sort of figure. And then it was the second night when he was working, he saw his sword vibrating. And he eventually figured out that it was the fan in the workshop that was causing this low, inaudible frequency.
Apparently, this is the frequency of your eyes.
Yeah, so that's the story. That it's the resonance frequency of your eyes. So what he was seeing was just an optical illusion that was being caused by the sound actually vibrating his eyeballs.
And if this connection was not made, it's called the ghost frequency because it causes you to see things
Mm.
and
People
you feel
often attribute
uneasy.
it to ghosts.
Physics solves the mystery yet again.
And I think that can be the case here on Windsor Island.
Nope.
So my question is for you guys: if you were in charge of an investigation on not Windsor Island, Zug Island, to
Zug
figure out what
Island.
was going on at Zug Island, what would you do?
Well, I would know all the secrets of Zug Island.
Oh,
so
okay. I
would put up a front.
You would ask a genie to let you in on the story.
Well, I mean, if I was investigating, you don't just investigate Zug Island and not find the crab people.
This has gone way further than I thought it was
I
going
think I
to.
finally agree with Taylor on something. You go underground. Forget everything on the surface. You go underground.
Gosh.
You try to find the crab temple.
The crab temple. It's not even that they're chanting; they're just like scuttling at the right frequency, and it vibrates the
that
earth.
could also be it.
Scuttling.
I'm willing to say I'm not 100% certain, but I know that it must be crab people.
I forgot.
It
Please remind
must
me. Is
crab
this a science podcast or is this
This is
not?
totally serious, Ethan.
You are the person who brought up conspiracy
This
theories,
is
and this is where
serious.
No,
it's
no,
taken.
You've
technically,
got to take
you're the
this
one who first brought it up.
seriously.
I am not taking you seriously. I have to admit, I am not taking you seriously.
How seriously are the people who are investigating it taking it?
Have they gotten onto the island?
They can't get. They're not allowed onto the island. They have to.
You
they
got to
have
get on the island.
boats
You got to
and
get
go
on the
across
island.
the river to get close enough to take recordings of the sounds.
That's what you
So-
got to do.
Why then, realistically, why would the steel factory not want to solve this issue?
I don't know, and that's what is
Because they're
driving
hiding
the conspiracy
something.
theories.
They're hiding something on
They
this
might be.
island, possibly crab related, but I'll leave it open.
I don't know, and it's weird because, like I said, I think what the real problem is here is that it's the people in Ontario that seem to be having the issues.
Yeah, but no one else does.
Yeah, so if kind of draw a mental map of the area, the river kind of runs north and south, and Detroit and Michigan are on the west side, and this Windsor, Ontario is on the east side. And I was watching like a news clip from the local news, and they were interviewing this lady who lived in Windsor, and she said when she goes to the west side of Zug Island, it's worse. But yet it only seems to be the people in Windsor that are reporting it, or that really having the issues with it. So it's the people in Ontario that are having issues with the plant that's technically in the United States, and so Ontario, or like Canadian government, can't really do anything to make Zug Island cooperate with investigations, because these are all Canadian government investigations. And so the steel plant is not going to be like, well, we don't have any issues over here, so why would they cooperate with the Canadian government,
Right.
to fix an issue that they don't see? So I think that's the basis of them not cooperating.
I think
That's just speculation, but I think that's most likely what's happening.
I think that there is a possibility that they know exactly what's causing it, but to fix the issue,
It would
it
be,
would
like,
cost
too
them
expensive,
a lot of
yeah.
money,
That's probably what it is.
and it would probably put their factory out of business, or at least
Or just
out of-
behind
out of
production
commission for a
long
while.
time. Yeah.
while they're
Too
fixing.
much. Yeah. It could be something that's fully so integrated into their factory.
Yeah, if it's the blast furnaces, like you can't just not have those.
Exactly. Yeah. If it is those or not the furnaces, but at least the stacks or something to do with the furnaces, it would take if they've only got 2 of them, they can't spare stopping them to fix them.
Yeah.
So.
Only 2 of them making that loud of a sound though.
Yeah,
Sounds
loud
a
enough that
little
it can be heard.
far-fetched.
I don't know if people like I said, I would be interested to see if there are actually people on the west side that do experience the same things, but this is apparently
Is
only
this
an issue
Windsor,
in Windsor.
like a small town?
It's one of those things where it's like a continuation of the metropolitan area of
Like a
Detroit.
suburb.
It's kind of like, yeah. Again, and they're it's not a small town. I don't know. Let's find out. Windsor, Ontario. Its population 218,000.
Yeah, that's not a small town.
But it's only the people that are right around Zug Island that report hearing the noise.
But only on one side.
And only on one side of the river, apparently.
So maybe
Okay, I was looking into. There's been a number of different mysterious humming noises that have been solved. Let's see. In one case, there was a 30. Okay, I don't know where this was, but it was a cooling tower at the local Chrysler casting plant. Second case, it was an air compressor intake at some other plant. And then when they were fixed, oh, here's another one that it was traced to a vacuum pump being used by a cargo ship. And in all of these cases, when the machines were fixed, the humming stopped, which is why I think that it's the same case here.
They just don't want to fix
They
it.
just don't want to fix it.
Because the crabs need these machines.
Okay.
All right, well, we'll leave it up to the listeners to go and maybe investigate further, see who they want to side with on this issue. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back in just a minute with our game today, hosted by me. And we're back for the game section of the podcast. I am taking care of it today. I think both my co-hosts are excited.
Yeah, well, we
Mhm.
certainly had quite a long break to get excited for this.
We're doing a little
This
bit of a twist on the regular trivia. I call it Hangman Trivia. Every question you get wrong, you played Hangman, yes?
Yes.
The word game.
The word game. Okay.
Taylor?
Yep, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, you get a question
For
wrong.
a second there, I was very uncomfortable, and I thought about leaving the room.
Get a question wrong, and you lose a body part.
Wait.
Physically.
The person
Wait,
with the most
are you-
body parts left at the end wins the game. That is right.
Isn't this the opposite of Hangman?
No, that's how
Don't you
Hangman works.
add body parts?
Well,
First person to get
Oh.
a full body is
yeah, but
quote,
the
unquote,
hanged
dead.
man is losing these body parts that are being hanged. So I see where he's coming from.
But he's already hanged. He's already dead. He doesn't care about the rest of his body.
All right, enough criticizing my game. Both of you pick a number between 1 and 100. Ethan, 1 and 100. Between there.
57.
57?
76.
76? Ethan, do you want the first column of questions on my
Okay.
paper or the second column?
Second.
You want the second column.
He has decided. Let the rock decide.
You can't, Taylor. So
Just so everyone knows, when
Jesse
we showed
has
up
a pet
today,
rock.
Jesse pulled out his laptop, his calculator, his pencil, his eraser, and a rock.
That's not true.
It's true. Okay, let's just
Moving on. Alright. How do you guys feel about quotes from famous people?
I don't know. Let the rock
Feels bad.
decide.
You feel bad about quotes from famous people? Then you can go
They're
first,
good?
Taylor.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Quotes from famous people are cool.
Finish this Benjamin Franklin quote. Nothing is certain except blank and blank.
I've heard this one before.
Nothing is
Is this
certain.
like a
Nothing is certain except blank and blank. Let me draw,
Oh, I
let me
think
draw
I
your
know.
people while I'm waiting.
Do I have a chance to steal?
Do I have a hint? Can I get a hint? Is that a part of this?
Not this one.
Not this one.
Do I get a chance to steal, or at least input my own guess?
Hold on, I'm drawing your people.
You're drawing my.
He's drawing
I
it.
didn't draw
Hangman.
Taylor's.
He's drawing
I didn't
the
draw
hangman.
Taylor's person very good.
Okay. It's right on the tip of my mind. You know,
Tip of your mind.
right on the tip of my mind. If there was any other, in any other context, I think I would be able to get this quote. But now that
Is that
they're
the frontal lobe?
If I say half of it, you can lose half a limb
half
and
a
still
limb,
save
is-
the other half.
oh,
which part of the limb is it? The arm, or
Oh, you get to
the
keep-
lower
You
limb?
get to keep the top part of the limb.
Are we
Okay,
talking about the upper limb or the lower limb?
We're talking about your right arm.
my right arm.
Your
I'll
right
lose
arm.
my right arm.
You'll lose half of it, and I'll tell you one of the blanks.
Okay.
Taxes.
Yes, I know it. I know it.
And freedom.
You're going to say it's freedom?
Yep.
Do I get a chance to input?
That is wrong. You do not get a chance because
No,
she
it's-
already used her hint.
What
Wait,
is
no,
it?
no.
Taylor
I just
loses-
want to. Okay, I just want to say
What's-
for the record that I did know it.
What is it, Ethan?
Nothing is certain except death and taxes.
There we go.
Death and oh, you gave me the wrong one. You gave me the second one, not the first one. You
What
didn't
you-
tell
Oh,
me
yeah,
which
I've-
part of the quote it was.
Taylor feels like she's been unfairly
It's my
treated.
turn.
Okay, hold on. Let me redraw Taylor's person.
Am I on the easy column or the hard column?
You didn't tell us which one was which.
Allegedly, one column is very easy and the other one is difficult.
How do you feel about quotes, Ethan?
Quotes?
Quotes from famous people.
I'm moderately comfortable with them.
Moderately comfortable. How about Albert Einstein quotes?
I've heard
You're
a lot of
giving
them.
him a
I've heard a
choice.
lot of them.
Oh, no, he doesn't get a choice. I'm just asking him in advance. All right. Finish this quote. God does not play blank with the universe.
Dice.
Dice? Instantly got it. Okay, so
I see it's stacked.
I
Does
think
anybody
his
know what he was saying that in context with?
Sounds like you do.
I'm turning it back. Yeah, I'm turning it back on the trivia
You can't
master.
ask
I'll
the
lose-
game
I-
master a question.
I
That's not how
refuse
this
to play.
works.
I did know it at one point. What is it? It's some
Qua-
theory.
It's quantum mechanics.
Quantum mechanics.
That's
Yeah.
why Albert Einstein was actually very good at developing lots of quantum mechanical theories, but he hated quantum mechanics. He didn't trust it. He didn't think it was real. No, anyway, that's what he thought about quantum mechanics. God does not play dice with the universe.
All right, Taylor. How do you feel about European capitals?
Just
Oh,
ask
jeez.
me the questions, man.
He is asking you a question. How do you feel about them?
Do I get points for answering?
You'll lose points if you don't answer.
Wait, there's no points here. It's just limbs.
I am mildly uncomfortable with them.
Great. What was Istanbul formerly known as? That's the capital of Turkey.
Oh, I think I might have this one.
No idea.
No idea?
Do I get a chance to
Absolutely
input
no
my
idea.
answer?
I'll tell you this much, just to try and help you along.
Okay.
So Istanbul, that's the capital of Turkey, but it was not always controlled by Turkey. It used to be controlled by a different country that no longer exists.
That's a good hint. I mean, not really, but
I think this is information that I did once have. Because this is sounding familiar to me, but I don't know. I have no idea.
Do I get a chance to at least input an answer? Obviously, she's got it wrong. She's lost a
yes.
whole limb.
I will let you input an answer.
Okay.
Ethan.
I believe it used to be called Constantinople. It was named after the Roman Emperor Constantine.
That is
in
correct.
the late 1st century.
Right. Ethan
All
won't
right.
get any stuff for that.
I don't
I'm
get
gonna put
anything
a-
for it.
I'm going to put a thumbs up on his character on the sheet.
Oh, nice. So I have added a body part. I've got a thumbs up now.
Okay.
Okay.
Ethan, how do you feel about Joe Biden?
Oh my god.
Joe Biden. Joe Biden quotes or just Joe Biden?
Not a quote, his life.
Just his life. Ooh, not very familiar with Joe Biden's life.
Do you know where he's from?
No,
That's not the
actually.
question. Don't worry about
No,
it.
I don't actually know where he's from.
See, Ethan got the hard question this round.
Oh boy.
Okay, before becoming vice president, Joe Biden served as a U.S. state senator for 36 years in blank. What state?
This
Oh,
is something that
God.
you can reasonably guess, though. There's only 50 options here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know how many names of cities there are? Millions.
It's in the eastern half of the United States.
Ooh, that lowers it.
He was a senator for 36 years of the state of. I'm gonna go.
If you want a hint, so you lose half a body part, the one that has the thumb, I'll limit it to 4 states.
Okay, I'll take that.
Right, hold on.
Because I already have a guess, but I want to see if
If your
you-
guess is in
Ooh,
this,
he's got
if
it.
the
in
guess
this
is in
pool.
this pool of 4 states. He's got to come up with 4 states though, or at least 3.
Right. So
We'll let him decide which states he's gonna choose.
New York, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, or Delaware.
My guess was definitely in those 4. It was New York, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, or Delaware.
Yes, those are the 4.
Oh wait. I'm second guessing myself. I'm gonna say Delaware.
Delaware?
Yeah.
That is correct.
My guess was actually Pennsylvania.
Why are you looking at me like that, man?
Because you're looking a little upset, Taylor.
All right,
I'm
all
just
right.
sitting here.
So
A
I'm
little
missing half a limb.
upsetty
Taylor's
spaghetti.
missing 1.5 limbs.
Yeah, what's our standings right now?
Oh, Taylor's missing 2. Because she took the hint and then also still got it wrong.
Oh, that's
Oh, that
right.
double negatives?
That's right. Okay.
That
okay.
doubly removes my limbs. I would have not taken the hint if I had known that.
No, it
No,
doesn't.
just
No, no,
remove
no.
the
You
rest of
lost
the
2
of the
questions in a
limb.
row. Like you took the hint,
Mm.
but then you still lost it. So you lost the other half as well.
Okay.
And then you got another question wrong, so you've lost a whole limb.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, Taylor. In tennis, a player who has lost a set 6-0 is said to have been what?
I'd like to say for the record that Jesse plays tennis. Did you look? You didn't.
I
have to-
didn't. I did
you
not
just
look this up.
created
This
this
was
up?
on the sheet of trivia that I found
you
online.
found?
Yes.
You just felt like you had to include it. You didn't ask her how comfortable she was with tennis before you asked her.
It doesn't
the
She
question.
matter.
didn't like the questions. She didn't like those anyway.
What was the question?
In tennis, a player who has lost a set 6-0 is said to have been what?
Skunked. You got skunked.
Skunked?
Yep.
You're gonna say skunked?
Yep.
That is incorrect. Ethan, do you have any idea?
It's
It's a food.
It's a food.
Why does
It's a
he get this hint?
Well, he's not gonna get anything out of it. That's not how this game works.
I don't.
No, the only thing I know about tennis is that
It's a food
somewhere
turned
in-
into a verb.
What? I have no idea. I the only thing I know about tennis is like tennis scores is that isn't there like a love?
That's if you both
That's
have the same
0.
score.
That's 0.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I thought it was if you had the same score.
I don't know.
The player is said to have been bageled.
I would have never
Bagel.
gotten that.
I'm surprised you even hazarded a guess. Skunked. All right, I'm not sure.
I just want to point out right now, this is an auditory thing that we're doing, and we're playing a visual game.
Okay, so Taylor has 1 leg.
So picture this: Taylor is without a leg, okay, and I'm without
No
half
arms.
of a limb. Half of
That
my,
is correct. Half of
okay.
your right arm.
half of my upper limb.
All right. Ethan,
Yes.
how do you feel about Greek mythology?
I'm not good with Greek mythology at all.
Great, because that's what my question's about.
Damn.
In Greek mythology, who succeeded in killing Achilles? It's pronounced Achilles, but I prefer to say Achilles.
Did you-
Succeeded in doing it?
Yes, in Greek mythology.
Crap! I even read the book.
Is that from the Wheel of Fortune?
I have
Okay.
no idea what you're talking about, Taylor.
There's a
You
Succeeded.
can't ask me questions during my game.
Yep. Okay.
Was it Hector?
Is that what you're gonna say?
Hector of Troy? I think I'm just coming up with these names right now.
No,
I know it was
Hector's
in the
Hector's a
Trojan
thing
War.
from Greek mythology.
I know it was in the Trojan War,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it was Athena about his weakness. I don't know. I'm just gonna say Hector.
Hector? That is incorrect. It was capital France. Paris.
It was Paris.
Paris.
Oh, the dude who took Helen in the first place. Was Hector even a part of the story? Was
Don't
there
look
a
at me.
Hector?
Achilles killed Hector, I think.
Achilles.
Oh, that's right. And he drug
Sorry,
him around.
Ageless.
Come
he
on,
drug
man.
him around the city
Yes.
in the back of his chariot.
Bragging.
In the back. Okay, well.
Taylor, how do you feel about musicals?
Right.
Good.
8.
The musical West Side Story is based on what Shakespearean
Romeo and
play?
Juliet.
Romeo and Juliet? That is correct. Taylor hops closer to the finish line.
Yes. How is the winner determined on who is like?
Who has the most left?
Okay.
It's a fight at the end, and we're just assuming that if you don't have any, if Ethan
Whoever
has
has more limbs
if
has a
Ethan has
significant
arms,
weight
then you
advantage.
have 1 leg.
I could probably win that fight.
All right, Ethan.
Doubt it.
The
Bet.
fantastical lands of Gondor, Mordor, and the Shire feature prominently in what author's fiction?
What authors is this? Shoot. Is this Lord of the Rings? You can't tell me that.
I
Hey.
obviously can't tell you. You can't ask me questions about my questions.
I don't know I don't know
Oh.
Lord of the Rings. I'm pretty sure it's Lord of the Rings, but
But what's the author? Because that is what the
I
question
don't
is.
remember his
If it is
name.
Lord of the Rings,
Okay. What was it? Gondor?
Gondor,
Gondor.
Mordor, and the Shire.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Lord of the Rings.
And the author,
Good thing you gave Ethan this question.
because
More interesting that way.
because you knew it.
Is it like like his first and middle name are initialed and
I
then
cannot
it's his
tell
last
you
name?
that, Ethan.
Do
I
get
mean,
a-
even if you
do I
had
have a
this
hint?
information,
Is there a hint for this one?
There's no hint because you already deduced.
She's missing 2 limbs.
There's no
Oh wait,
hint.
I've already deduced the hint that it is Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
missing 3 limbs.
Don't know. I can't even venture a guess. Other than that, it's probably like an HR something.
H.R.
That is
Block.
incorrect. It is J.R.R.
Tolkien.
Tolkien.
Tolkien. Tolkien.
Close enough.
Okay.
All right, so Ethan is leading by half an arm.
Half an arm.
Half
Gotcha.
an arm.
Half an arm?
Half an arm.
Why does he have half an arm?
Because he took a hint and got
Yes.
it right
oh,
about Joe Biden.
yes, of course.
Okay. Taylor, have you seen? Never mind. How do you
Yeah?
feel about movies?
I like movies.
Good.
You should be.
In what film does John Travolta memorably discuss a foreign McDonald's burger he calls a Royale with cheese?
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction. I thought that one would be too obscure. But here we go. Taylor knew it automatically. Have you seen? You've seen it, right?
I have seen it.
I haven't seen
You have
it.
not seen it.
Have you?
Oh, I've seen it.
Oh, he's seen it. He has seen it, all right.
Here's your tennis question, Ethan.
There's another
Shoot.
tennis question.
Wait, what do our characters look like again?
You're leading by half an arm.
Okay.
You both have one leg. Okay. Once ranked number 1 for a record 237 weeks, tennis great Roger Federer hails from what country? I'll tell you it's in Europe.
Say it one more time.
What country is Roger Federer from? Tennis, like, he was number 1 tennis player
Tennis.
for like 237 weeks in a row.
Roger
Federer.
Federer.
You want to take a hint
Roger
for the other
No,
half
I
of
don't-
your arm?
I don't
Ooh.
want to risk. I don't want to risk. Well, okay, if I get this one wrong,
Then you'll lose a whole leg.
I'll lose.
And you'll be left
No,
with just a stub arm.
Mm-hmm.
And
If
you'll
you
be
take
one,
if
you'll
you
be-
take the hint, you lose half a limb.
then
but then
she'll
you
she'll be half a limb up on.
No, she'll be tied with you.
If I
If you
take the
don't
hint.
take the hint and you get it wrong, I will be half a limb up.
Oh, okay. I'll take the hint then. I think I can afford it.
Okay, so 4 countries. Great Britain, Sweden, Switzerland, or Germany.
Okay, well, my original guess was not a part of those 4 countries. Federer.
Great Britain, Sweden, Switzerland, Germany.
I'm gonna say Great Britain.
That is incorrect. He's Swiss.
What Swiss person is named Roger?
Him.
Roger.
Why would you even
Federer.
ask that? That's like a non-question.
Okay, so Taylor is up,
Okay.
but I'm going to give you guys a chance to level the playing field with this question. I'm going to say the question, and the first person who can answer it correctly. I'm not going to ask you individually. The first person who can answer it correctly.
Okay, real
Will
quick,
win.
Okay.
just for the listeners, what is our standing?
You have one leg. Ethan has half an arm. So you are up.
Okay.
But I'm going to give Ethan a chance to try and bring it back.
All right.
This is I don't know how to describe it. I'll just say it. Scholars and intellectuals are commonly said to reside in a tower made of what?
Ivory. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Oh. I've never gotten this.
Have you ever heard that?
I have heard the
Tower
phrase
of Ivory, yeah.
ivory tower, but I didn't. I didn't know what it was referring to.
Yeah, same. I've only heard the phrase ivory tower. I didn't know it was referring to that. I just took a stab. I had nothing to lose.
That is fair. That is fair. All right.
I mean, I had my half of an arm to lose.
So does this subtract from me or add to him?
It subtracts half a limb from you.
So now we're tied?
You're tied.
Okay.
We are
All right.
tied.
The
Now we need a
final
tiebreaker.
question. Another one about movies. What
Wait,
is-
is this- wait.
Is this a
Yeah,
who can answer first?
who's answering this?
You can both answer.
Okay.
What
Is this
a
the
quick-
last question?
Yes.
Do we need to answer like the first person to answer correctly?
Yes.
So okay.
So if you answer
Okay.
incorrectly, you lose immediately.
Dang. Okay.
What?
But if we both answer incorrectly, then we both lose.
Well, it's whoever answers first.
Yeah.
What is the most successful comedy franchise of all time? There's quite a few of these movies.
I watch comedies, man.
Don't you love to laugh, Taylor?
Most successful comedy franchise of all time. There are quite
There's-
a few of these movies.
Yeah.
At least now I know it's
Our Star Wars comedy movies.
Absolutely not.
This is a serious matter. On
I'll-
my economics class, we were just going over like the most popular movies
I'll give
based
you a
on their
hint.
standings.
The first word is a. I'll just say it. The first word is police.
I feel like at this point it's really obvious, and I have no clue.
That's half the title of this franchise of movies.
the most successful comedy
Police?
franchise.
Yeah.
Oh, there's got to be someone listening just cringing right now because they know what it is.
I've seen a few of these movies. They're pretty funny.
Boy.
It starts with police.
It starts with police.
You have another tiebreaker, right?
Oh no. All right. Something.
Hint on the second word. I request.
Hint on the second word. Starts with an A. School is a synonym.
What?
A word like school, but starts with A.
Police Academy.
Yep.
You just gave it to her. You practically just gave
You-
it
Yeah,
to
he
her.
You were
gave it
also
to you,
listening,
too.
Ethan. All right.
That was okay.
Ethan's arm is gone. Now we're down to a fight. Taylor has half a leg up on Ethan.
Was that the only
She
tiebreaker?
nubs him in the face. Ethan loses.
Insta death.
Taylor is the winner. Instant death.
This is-
Critical
yes.
This is
hit. You
I
protested.
I protest this because I knew more of her answers than she did.
Yeah, but you
You
didn't get
chose
these
your
questions.
column.
Also,
I
You
didn't
didn't
know
know-
what was in the column.
Tolkien? Come on, man.
I don't do that stuff. I don't read those
do that
books. I don't
stuff.
watch the movies. I don't think about it. I don't talk about it.
I think it's time for us to discuss what we believe is on the third floor. Fourth floor. Oh, boy.
All right. Enough of the trivia.
Carson, cut that out.
One more question for everybody. What do you think is on the fourth floor?
I think that
Oh
there
my
are
gosh.
several thousand crabs.
There we go. There we go. Now that's
No.
something I can
And
get
they are
behind.
all
Not the
buzzing.
They're
crab
creating a
people
resonant
on-
frequency in the building.
It is
They're
true that
ruining all of the
Jorgensen does shake.
experiments.
Jorgensen does vibrate at very
Jorgensen
measurable
vibrates
frequency.
from the crabs.
From
No,
the
it-
crabs?
It's the
It
crab
vibrates
people.
from
They're
all
up
of the
there.
machines in the basement.
Yeah,
This
that's
is-
it's a
No,
front.
no, no.
It's
no.
it's definitely a
No,
front.
no, no. That's a cover.
It's absolutely a front.
Hello? If you're still here, it's because you're looking for more. If that's the case, check us out on Facebook at What's on the Fourth Floor and Twitter at OnFloor4. Again, that's Facebook, What's on the Fourth Floor, Twitter at OnFloor4. That's at OnFloor, the number 4.